Hello students, today in this video we are going to study the story The Tiger King. It has been written by Kalki. The story is in the syllabus of class 12 book Vistas. This is a story of the king who was nicknamed as the Tiger King. This name was given to him not because he had done something very heroic, rather he started an indiscriminate hunting of the tigers. As it had been predicted at the time of his birth that he would be killed by a tiger, and in order to defy his own fate he started the hunting and killing of tigers, but it is the irony of fate that ultimately he was killed by a wooden piece of tiger. But before moving any further, first of all we'll know about the author himself. Ramaswamy Krishnamurthy, who was born on 9 September 1899 and lived up to 1954. He is better known by his pen name Kalki, the name that has been taken from the last and the 10th avatar of Lord Vishnu. Kalki was an Indian writer, journalist, poet, critic and Indian independence activist also. His writings include over 120 short stories, 10 novels, 5 novels, 3 historical romances, editorial, political writings, film and music reviews, etc. etc. And if we go about the story, this story is actually a political satire on those people who are proud and who are stubborn for their own power. The story takes us to the days of those autocratic and eccentric rulers who were under the thumb of British rule. But they did not want to serve their own people. Rather, they used all their powers just to pursue their own selfish motives. They flouted all the laws and bent them to suit their own purposes. And such was a king, the king of Pratibandhapuram, Jilani Jangjang Bahadur. He also tried to defy the law of fate. He wanted to reverse what was written in his own fate. When he was only 10 days old, it was predicted by the astrologers that he would be killed by the tiger. When he became adult, he became of 20 years, it came to his ears that this was the prediction of the astrologer, and in order to prove his supremacy, foolish pursuit, he killed one tiger and went to the astrologer that yes, I have done this thing. But the astrologer said that yes, you can kill 99 tigers like this, but you will be killed by the 100th tiger. And the king here started a mad pursuit. He left all the works of kingdom. He paid no attention on anything. He even did not pay any attention to the public. He left everything and he started tiger hunting, just to prove that he was supreme and he could defy his own fate. And in that mad rush, he did many things that were actually not wise, they were whimsicals. People were afraid of him. And ultimately, when he thought that he had killed 100 tigers, the 100th, that was actually not the 100th to be killed by him. It was actually killed by the hunters. He went on to play with his own son, and the irony here is that he was killed by the wooden tiger that he gifted to his own son, one tiny sliver that actually pricked in his finger, and then the infection was there and he died even after the surgery. So this is the story. Now we'll know about the main characters of the story. First of all, the main character here is the Tiger King. Tiger King is the hero of the story and his name is Jilani Jangjang Bahadur. He has many other names. He is the Maharaja of Pratibandhapuram, and his other names are like Highness, Jamidar, General, Khilidar, Major, Satyagraha, Sahari, Maharaja Dhiraj, Vishwa Bhuvan Samrat, Sir Jilani Jangjang Bahadur, MAD, ACTC or CRCK. These are the names or the titles given to him. Then Crown Prince. Crown Prince is the actually when he was an infant of 10 days. And then Chief Astrologer, the one who predicted about the fate of the Tiger King. And then a British high-ranking officer who has been addressed as Durai. In Tamil, Durai is the chief or leader. Then Diwan. Diwan is the chief administrative officer. Duraisini is the wife of the British officer, and there is also the secretary to the British officer. These are the major characters in the story. If we go by the summary of the chapter, the Maharaja Sir Jilani Jangjang Bahadur was called Tiger King. When he was just 10 days old, he asked intelligent questions to the astrologer who came there to predict the fate. The astrologer said that this child, he was born under the star of bull, and as bull and tigers are enemies, so this child will be killed, or this child will die one day. At that time, the 10 days old child, only 10 days old child, he said something. He said that yes, everyone who is born, he has to die. But there would be some sense in it if you can tell the matter or manner of the death. Everyone was surprised that how a young child, mean only a 10 days old child, is speaking. The astrologer was also shocked, but he said that the child was born under the star of bull, and so the death will come from tiger. And at that time the infant said, let tiger beware. And apart from this miracle, no other miracle happened in his childhood days, and he was brought up under a total English influence, as was common with the crown princes of that time. And when he became 20-year-old, he was given his own kingdom by the English or the Britishers. And at that time, when he became the king, this rumor of this prediction came to his ears through some people. And at that time, the king started his journey. First of all, he killed one tiger and went to the chief astrologer and showed him that yes, I have killed the tiger and you said that I will be killed by a tiger. But the astrologer here predicted that yes, you are safe. You are safe from 99 tigers, but the 100th tiger will be the reason of your death. So here, instead of avoiding tigers, the man, the king, he went on towards the journey of 100th tiger. He started his journey of killing the tigers, hunting the tigers. He left all the works. He pledged that he'll do all other works after killing 100 tigers only. Once he defies his fate, he'll attend all the works. And the astrologer also said that if you defy your fate, if you kill your other 100 tigers, then I will leave this profession and I'll kill my tuft. I'll cut my tuft, I'll cut my hair, and then I'll become an insurance agent. Then the Tiger King started hunting tigers, and it was made a law in the state that none other than the king could kill the tigers. Only the king had the power to kill the tigers, and if anyone even hurt the tiger with a pebble or a small stone, all his property would be confiscated. So this was the we can say milestone in his tiger hunting, and he was killing more and more tigers every day. But once a problem came when a British officer, a high-ranking British officer, came to the kingdom, and he showed a desire that he wanted to do a tiger hunting. The king here became very worried that how could he allow him? If he allowed this person, then other people will also come and they'll also do the tiger hunting, and then he would not be able to find the tigers. And his law, his own rule that he had made, that will be totally broken. So he denied. At that time, the British officers sent a message that okay, no issue, you can do the hunting yourself, but I just want a picture of myself along with the rifle and the dead beast. But the king also denied this. He said that he could arrange a mouse hunt, a mosquito hunt, a boar hunt, anything, but he cannot allow to do the tiger hunting. Now the British officer became very, very angry, and the king was also very tensed that if the Britishers were angry, then his kingdom was in danger. So he thought and thought and thought, and now he came up with a plan. He bought some 50 gold rings and sent them to the wife of that British officer. He thought that she'll keep 1 or 2 rings and send the rest back, but the wife, the lady, she kept all the 50 diamond rings and sent a thank you note. Although the king was somewhat worried that he had lost 3 lakh of rupees because of the rings, but he was happy that at least his kingdom was now secured, because the wife was happy, then the husband would be obviously happy. So his hunting continued, and in 10 years he hunted 70 tigers. But now an unforeseen hurdle came. And the hurdle was that all of a sudden the tiger population of the kingdom that became totally extinct. There was no tiger to be found. And yes, it had to happen because he was hunting the tigers regularly. He was actually disturbing the ecological system. He was actually disturbing the wildlife. Now he started thinking again how he could kill the 30 more tigers. So he came off with a plan. He asked his divan to make the statistics that if there is a neighbor or the neighboring country where a royal girl is to get married, and that country has, or that state has, many tigers in its forest, then the divan, he drew the statistics, and they actually found the right girl. The king married that girl, and the purpose of marriage here was not anything else. It was not love, it was not desire of marriage, it was the desire of hunting tigers. So the king married to that girl in whose state there were many tigers. And whenever the king visited his in-laws' house, he killed 5 or 6 tigers. So at last his tally reached to 99. Now only one tiger was left. But this tiger actually brought many problems in king's life. He searched everywhere in his own kingdom, in his in-laws' kingdom, everywhere. Even the public announcements were made. But the last tiger could not be found. The king became very angry, and he doubled the land tax on the villagers, and even the many officers, they lost their jobs because of the anger of the king. But one tiger could not be found. And when the divan was threatened by the king, and the divan thought of a plan. He arranged a tiger that he brought from People's Park in Madras. He wanted to take that tiger to the king, but the tiger, as if he has come on a satyagraha, he did not came down of the car where the king was having his tent. But the very next day, the tiger himself went to the forest, set up before the king, as if he was saying that, yes, master, what do you command of me? And the king became very much happy. In his joy, he shot an aim and hit the tiger. He thought that the tiger had died, but the tiger actually fainted. It did not die, but the tiger king thought that the tiger had died, and he became very happy that yes, he had completed his tally of 100. And he went from there with a very happy mood in a large procession. But when the king had gone from there, the tiger opened its eyes. But nobody had enough courage to tell the king that the tiger was not actually dead, because they knew that if the king came to know about the liveliness of the tiger, then he would once again become angry. So one of the hunters, he took an aim and shot the tiger. So actually the 100th tiger that was not killed by the king, that was killed by the hunters, and the king was thinking that yes, he had killed 100 tigers and now his life is safe. So he turned his attention towards his family and his kingdom. He was playing with his 3-year-old son, and it was his birthday. He searched for all the shops and the complexes for a gift, but he could not find a suitable gift. So he was visiting the market, and there he found a wooden tiger. The wooden tiger actually was not at all refined and polished, but the shopkeeper, who knew that if he says so, he could be punished, so he gave the wooden tiger to the king, and addressing him as a rare sample of art, as a masterpiece. The king thought it to be a very good thing, and he started playing with his own son. And when they were playing, one of the tiny slivers that was there on that wooden tiger that pierced the king's finger, and there was an infection that covered whole his arm. 3 surgeons from Madras were called for the surgery. They operated the king, but they could not save the king and the king was dead. Thus the 100 tiger takes his final revenge upon the Tiger King. This is the summary of the story. So here, if we go by the major themes of the story, this story is actually, if we see, is a very simple story, but it has some themes, like a satire on the conceit of those in power. The story is a satire on the conceit of those in power. Yes, the king who was very powerful and he thought that with his power he could do anything and everything, but he could not do. So, this is a kind of satire. Then it's a general comment on leaders and politicians who misuse the powers given to them in order to fulfill their own foolish and whimsical interest at the place of serving their people. This story also brings into limelight how people who are elected or selected to serve the people, they, when get power, they actually forget all their duties and they start doing their own interests. They start fulfilling their own interests. Then the third theme is arrogance and pride has its own fall. Everyone who is arrogant and proud, eventually he meets his own fall. And the last, the need for conservation of wildlife. This story also suggests that there is a need of conservation of wildlife. How, due to the indiscriminate hunting of tigers by the king, the forest became totally empty of the tigers. And the wildlife that is very much necessary for the balanced ecological system. The ecological system that is actually disturbed because of this hunting. This also is brought into the limelight. Then we move towards the examples of humor in the story. This story has the many instances of humors and then irony and then satire. If we go by the humor in the story, then the Tiger King is an example of a humorous story. It creates laughter, it ridicules. There are many funny instances or the statements. First of all, when Maharaja was of just 10 days, he started speaking, which was astonishing, and addresses the astrologers clearly in his squeaking voice. Only when he was 10 days old, he started speaking and raising intelligent questions, and at that time the astrologers were like stupefied. This creates laughter because the astrologer, they were so much shocked to speak anything. Then the king's belief that he would change his destiny and the astrologer's acceptance to the challenge that he would cut off his hair and become insurance agent is quite comic. Also, the challenge of the astrologer that yes, if you can change your destiny, then I would leave my profession and I will become an insurance agent. This also creates humor. Kalki again makes fun of the king when he tells us that the king did not attend to anything, not even his 3-year-old son, as he was busy completing the target of killing 100 tigers. Yes, he left everything. He even did not pay attention to his own son, his own family, his own kingdom. He just killed tigers. And then there is very humorous example when the king offered the British officer mosquito or mouse hunting at the place of the tiger hunting. Even the conversation between the king and Diwan about marrying a sword and the tiger, or marrying a tiger or the ancestors marrying a sword, that also generates a lot of humor. And finally, when the 100 tiger is killed, before that, when the Diwan tries to present the 100 tiger in front of the king by pushing him in the car and also by dragging him outside the car, this also creates a lot of laughter. All these things are very comic. So there are many examples of humor in the story. Next, if we go by the irony in the story is actually having a dramatic irony and the irony of fate. Irony, students, is a literary device in which actually the things that happen is totally opposite of what was expected. The king expected that he would defy his fate and he would kill 100 tigers, but irony here is that he was killed by a wooden tiger. He was not killed by a ferocious beast, rather he was killed by a wooden tiger. So the Tiger King is replete with irony that reveals the foliage of autocratic and willful rulers who flout all laws and bend them to suit their selfish interest. First of all, the dramatic irony in the story is sharp. When the Tiger King alone is unaware that his bullet did not kill the tiger. All other people know this. They knew this, but the Tiger King, he was thinking that he had killed the tiger, but he did not kill the tiger. Then we realize how misplaced the king's pride at killing the first tiger was. The astrologer said that he would be killed by the 100th tiger. The king could avoid the tigers, but he started a chain of tiger hunting, and he himself went towards the 100th tiger rather of avoiding them. Then the lofty titles used to introduce the Tiger King, suggesting an invincible ferocity, are indeed ironic, as he is finally killed by a cheap and crudely made wooden toy tiger. The Tiger King, he was getting high titles like the Maharaja or the His Highness and the Tiger King. But all these lofty titles came to an end when the king, instead of getting killed by a ferocious beast, he was killed by a toy tiger. All his pride went into vain, and the nature took its own revenge from the Tiger King. Next, there's some instances of satire in the story also. Satire employs irony, sarcasm, ridicule, etc. in exposing and criticizing foolish and vices in men. The story uses humor to criticize self-seeking kings who willfully exploit both nature and their subjects for selfish interest. Students, satire is a mode of writing where the vices and the foolish of people are highlighted with the help of some ridicule and sarcasm. And why they are highlighted? So that perhaps the people who are reading them, they will be able to amend themselves, they will be able to actually improve themselves. When the Maharaja of Pratibandhupuram was told that he would be killed by a tiger, he could never imagine the twist in fate where he would not be killed by a real tiger, rather he would be killed by a toy tiger. He never imagined that thing. But because of his conceit, he was unprepared for such surprises flung by the life. Then the grandeur associated with the king's life proves a mockery. The news of the king's ailment invited not one, not two, but 3 surgeons. He was given such a grand mannerism. They got so tied up in technicalities that they declared the operation successful even though they killed the king. The story also satirizes the corrupting influence of power. Just because the Tiger King had power, he started pestering other people. He started showing his anger. He forgot his responsibility as a ruler. He neglected the welfare of his people. He doubled the taxes. First of all, he himself was not a good ruler, and then he started torturing his subjects. And then the next, when we see the king gloating over his bravery after killing the 100th old weak tiger, we notice that Kalki is satirizing the notion of cowardice and bravery. There is no heroism in fighting an unequal battle. The last tiger, he was very weak, he was very aged. He came in front of the king, and the king was very happy to kill him. Here, the thing is that there's no heroism when you are fighting with an unequal match. It is only cowardice, but the king was having pride in his own cowardice. Kalki is also criticizing the king's men and subjects who pandered to his whims out of fear, or like the shopkeeper, manipulate and fool him. The people who are afraid of him, but they did not speak anything to him because they were afraid. They had fear of king. They had fear of their life. They had fear of their job. So students, this was the story of a king who actually just followed a very foolish journey, and ultimately he met a very tragic end, the end that he had not even anticipated. He thought that he would defy or he would reverse his fate, but the nature, it took its own revenge and it ultimately killed the king. So I hope you have understood the story. You also have enjoyed the story and understood the implied meaning. You have understood the irony, then humor and satire in the story. So keep learning, keep enjoying literature. Thank you. Have a nice day.